listening to the best music. No Drake can touch that woo. Shaky, now they still wonder. Wakiranda randa, mukazani patana baraka zinatamba. Mini rasta fukinti zitawaka. Hata kwenye niko nimetoka kukiwasha. Kiflash na toka mwisho kusange pika kusota. Kuzi never bother, watakata kila kona. Buda wakikuona.
Welcome family to Let's Pop with Iriton this beautiful Monday. Happy holidays. I hope you had a restful, empowering weekend. However it is, I hope it was actually worth it. But welcome to another conversation here with me on the Black Fire Radio Network, Media for the 21st Century, where we are always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. My name is Iriton Longoria, and I'm sending you so much love and light. I do have a guest in the studio. Hopefully, Capri might join us later. But welcome again, and we'll definitely have an amazing conversation. Before I actually share the topic of the day, I'll definitely let the one and only.
Yeah. How is everybody?
Oh my god, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where have you been? We've missed you because you're definitely my team for Monday.
Yeah.
You guys decided like Iriton is boring us, so she gotta kick rocks. That's what she said.
So I've been in hiding, before a butterfly becomes a butterfly, it has to become a caterpillar.
Okay.
So a lot of learning here and there.
Nice. That's important.
Because the journey that I've decided to take is not a journey that can be accomplished without getting prior knowledge, or like
Absolutely.
being humble in the beginning and being a student. So that's why I've been running away.
Which is so important. Very important. Aloneness sometimes really matters.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you're alone, you tend to actually strategize, plan, and know what really matters to you. So welcome back. I'm excited to have you. Hopefully, Capri will join us later. I've missed you guys. Yeah, I really miss you guys because we're always having amazing conversations with you guys. Banter here and there. But family, that's the one and only Sankara, who's always joining me on Mondays on Let's Pop with Iriton. But before I start the conversation, remember, we definitely do have an app where you can actually get notified on different shows that are always running on the Black Fire Radio Network from 8 in the morning to 11 p.m. Amazing, redefining, empowering, educative conversation. So if you're using the iPhone, you can only stream on www.blackfireradionetwork.com. And if you're using the Android device, just type the name Black Fire Radio Network on the Google Play Store, and it's going to appear like right away. And then you can actually install it, and it'll definitely be here on every update. StreamYard, BitChute, YouTube, on all networks, we're always here pushing and basically redefining every moment.
Yes. Always redefining every moment.
Absolutely. Because of time, I will definitely delve into the conversation of the day.
Yes.
About how African countries are getting paid to stay poor.
And it's extremely sad that is in 2025, that is something we're still discussing.
I know, because it's still happening.
We're still impoverishing other countries for our own gain. But anyways, we're extremely happy, we as the people of Kenya and the Republic of Kenya, that some of the things that have been enablers of these white and country people's goals and long-run goals for Africa are coming down. We are really happy that Kenya is slowly having the veils falling off the eyes of the
Absolutely.
people. Slowly, and we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love positive affirmation.
Yes.
Because,
indeed.
as you've said, we do have a generation that They know the truth. They know what's happening.
You know what's happening, yes, and that's
Yeah.
and you know kweli, you know kweli wa mambo, and that's the truth about it, cause Africa, Mama Africa.
I
don't
know.
Yeah, oh God. Hey, this is part of
Nature
why
is
we've been-
actually going back to its natural self.
Yes.
So, whoever stands in the way,
will get bulldozed.
mhm,
Yes,
because
indeed.
it's actually we're going back to how things used to be.
Yes,
Africa is the new superpower.
it's a new superpower.
The way it used to be.
Yes,
It's a fact.
we're going back to the black colony that we've always anticipated.
Yeah.
We've always sung about. We've always
Absolutely.
prophesied. We've always wanted.
Yeah.
We as the black people, and great news has happened in Kenya.
Okay.
In the past week, that is gonna take us to that direction. We're really happy that we've come to the end of Odingaism in Kenya, and with the death of that cunt, we Kenyans don't even understand the kind of positive effect it has had with the death
Tell us about that.
of the guy, because we can't be here saying we're celebrating a hero, yet every moment this guy has had, he's always championed for let's share power.
Okay.
He will create chaos to get that, to justify why we need to share power. It started in 1992 with Kinamoi.
Okay.
He caused a lot of chaos, and that's how they joined government. He joined government as minister in Moi's government. So this has always been his MO. I caused chaos, and then he used to cut it. It happened the same way in 2007, and this one was literal fighting. We had people burning in churches, we had people dying on the streets, we had people stopping people on matatus, telling them shuka, wewe ni wa kabila gani, wewe ni wa huku na huku.
Yeah.
People
Very hard days.
died in numbers.
Yeah.
And what calmed that storm was Sumkate.
Mhm.
Right?
Absolutely.
He did the same in 2013, he did the same in 2017, he did the same thing after the Gen Zs stormed parliament in last year.
Absolutely.
He uses the blood of people to get his pockets richer. They say he's the father of democracy. He's the father of devolution. Devolution is the most corrupt institution in the Republic of Kenya. That is the most easiest way that you can loot government coffers.
Mm.
That is without regulation, the EACC cannot ask questions to government funds like governors.
Right.
They took vital responsibility away from the national government to county government, so that they can continue looting and loot more.
Right.
Hospitals in counties are terrible depending on the county you're in. Even Murang'a County, your
Absolutely.
hospitals are very, very good,
Yes.
because your governor is doing a lot of work
Absolutely.
with the health sector. In
Yeah.
a county like Murang'a. And if you go to a county like Nairobi or Kiambu, you're gonna die in the fucking hospital. And this is the guy who championed that for us in
Okay.
the 2010 constitution. Yet we are celebrating him, saying he was the father of people. Baba ya nani?
To other people he was, we cannot refute that. But maybe if we can talk more about the air quotes democracy,
Yes.
which doesn't really exist.
He wasn't the father of a democracy,
Yeah.
as much as I will say he was the biggest government looter. That is why everyone in government seems depressed, because they all looted with him and he was their chief looter. He's been looting since 1992. He has
Mhm.
the MO. He's continued a legacy from his father Jaramogi.
Right.
This guy was a government giant looter, and you find people like the IMF sending and
Yes.
putting funds for organizations and institutions like the
Mhm.
CIA to
Yeah.
have operatives
Yeah.
and contacts
Right.
to be their dealers and whatever, to be telling these cunts, we want you to be this and this and this for this country.
Mhm.
As much as these
Mhm.
people are genuinely greedy,
Yes.
these institutions by the white man, they enable these people to continue with their greedy tendencies.
Mm.
How do they do that? They fund these motherfuckers. They spend
Right.
billions.
In terms
and
of funding,
billions.
absolutely. So before you move forward, sorry,
Yeah.
your take is the demonstration
Yes.
during his year used to be funded.
Not okay, funded by him, yes. It's true. People will be told. Okay, that's why that is where we get a concept.
Yeah.
It's I really can't remember the technical name for it. It's whereby if I want to get votes from a certain
Right.
constituency,
Yeah.
at the margin of the upper middle class, I will make sure I have a slum that will give me numbers.
Mhm.
So if anytime I need votes and I need people to use in my dirty games,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the slum. So what do? I will transport as many people as I can to from Mashambani to and bring them here to Nairobi and leave them stranded.
Okay.
So we'll have a place like Kibera
Mhm.
where he will need that place for votes, and those are the same people he will go to when he needs to make chaos. What will he do? He'll go to Kibera, dish out 200 shillings to people, tell them kesho kuna maandamano, and people will come out for maandamano on that Tuesday, and then he will go on TV and scream, ready for Tuesday, ready for Tuesday, and they're already paying people for that.
But still he did have genuine people who followed him regardless.
And it's dangerous because that
I'm
emo,
not regarding that. I'm just saying he had that aura of individuals who literally just followed what he said without questioning.
yes,
Yes.
and how they accomplished that, I will say is if I'm able to buy love from or like buy support from a
Yeah.
few people, it will be very easy to have others give it to me for free.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm able to pay a few thousand to show that to show or to come and cheer,
Yeah.
and I do this over and over again,
Yeah.
they're gonna that is a tactic that I will use to create more loyal people,
Absolutely.
and I wouldn't have to even pay them.
Right.
So it was an MO that it's usually a tactic. These are some of, if you are a fan of Machiavelli, you will say some of the tactics these people use are part of what Machiavelli was talking about.
Right.
What would I do? I
Yeah.
will fund a few people, and then from those few people, they will be able to spread out whatever I want to spread out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because human beings have this thing called, they have this need of wanting to belong in the same group.
Absolutely.
So I
yes.
wouldn't want to be the one saying no.
Mhm.
So with that, you have a collective thinking, and
Yeah.
it's very easy for you to fall in love with
Mm.
someone in that state.
Right,
That's why
yeah.
they treated him like a god.
Mhm.
It's part of the tactics for him. Everyone or anyone who wants to reach to that
Yeah.
point of organic devotion from people,
Uh-huh.
you will have to buy it in the beginning.
Mm.
It's not free of charge from
Right.
the beginning. You have to condition people's minds over and over and over and over again. And it's with such institutions, we allow such people to stay there and loot more.
You've actually reminded me of a conversation that Dr. Umar was talking about,
Yes.
and he was talking about the brain.
Yes.
And he said the brain is a slave to repetition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The brain does not like difficult things.
Yes.
It likes
Yes.
it likes simple things that you
Mhm.
can do
Over and over and
over
over.
again.
Yes.
That is why you unless you die, you're always breathing, but you don't tell your lungs how to breathe.
Right.
Right? It's done by the brain does it for you.
Mhm.
Alright? Because the brain is the most supercomputer that has ever existed.
Right.
And that is the truth about it.
Mhm.
No fucking MacBook, no fucking AI, no fucking whatever will ever reach to the point where the human brain and its computing abilities, because the human brain is a supercomputer, it processes a lot of information at the same
Absolutely.
time,
Yeah.
some of which it's conscious, some of which is subconscious, some of which you even don't know it's being processed.
Right.
For example, your nose is always visible, but your brain blocks it out so that you can be able to have a clearer view of what you're seeing in front of you. So
Right.
yes, your nose, you can see your nose, but
Yeah.
the brain will block that out.
Right.
Yes, and
Right.
that is not
Absolutely.
something that you're doing actively.
Yes.
It's something
Now
that is.
when you're saying that, I'm now thinking about checking out my nose, and it's being a distraction right now because now my concentration It's like, okay.
Yes.
Let me look at my nose right now and see if it's visible, obviously.
Yes. and
Yeah.
If they are able to continue the trend of repetition and repeat, you find a institution like the IMF,
Right.
they succeed in such with such tactics.
Yes,
You know how the IMF will do it? They will come to you and tell you, we need to give you money
But you don't need that money,
for your development.
you know?
But what will make you go for that money? Because your currency is very weak compared to the universal currency that we have. So you're gonna end considering
And
that-
also, I'm so sorry to cut you short.
yes,
I believe, as you've said, what will definitely consider you to actually accept the money. In Africa, we haven't built an independent system.
an independent bank system. Yes,
We don't have that.
don't have that. Yes.
So, as leaders who still don't want to put in the work, because we definitely understand they're being controlled and
Yes.
they cannot say no,
Yeah.
it's easy for them to say yes to this money, not knowingly that in Africa we all have what we need.
Everything
It's
that
an
we need.
abundant continent.
You know, the moment the white man told and showed everyone on the planet that without money we're fucked and money is everything
Absolutely.
on the planet, they managed to get to fuck up everything, fuck everyone's lives and fuck everyone's heads.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's how they did it, and that's how they're able to accomplish it. How do they do it? They come and they tell you, we're gonna give you a global currency, and they
Absolutely.
name it the
Yeah.
dollar. So what does that mean? Internationally, I would trade with this dollar,
Uh-huh.
and if I want to get a commodity in Dubai, in Australia, whatever part of the country or continent, it would be easier for me to trade in dollars because it's widely acceptable and it's widely susceptible, or not susceptible, it's the widely used for international purposes of trade. So how else do I keep you dependent on me if I've made my currency stronger? I make yours weak.
Absolutely.
And anytime you need to trade, you don't use your money, you have to use my currency. So anytime we as the Kenyan people buy oil from whatever we're buying or import vehicles, you convert our Kenyan shillings to dollars, which is a lot of money, where one US dollar equates to 189 Kenyan
Oh.
shillings.
Oh my gosh. Look
So
at that.
converting our money to the dollar,
Yeah.
we have already lost money already. A lot of money. Then we do the trade. Alright?
Yeah.
So with that system, how does the IMF now gives you more money? They come and tell you, by the way, your country, you don't have enough money. So we're going to give you this money, and it's in dollar, yes. But for us, how we're going to get back our money is if you change a few policies here and
Thank
there.
you.
And
Thank
the
you.
first thing they will do, they will first privatize state funds so that they can be able to loot a lot more money and more money.
Yeah.
So they come and own this institutions owned by the people of the republic.
Absolutely.
And they come and pass dubious laws that make our local manufacturing industry difficult. They come raise fucking stupid taxes for no reason. So here at home, we cannot build our own industries because
Yes.
of fucking tax.
Actually,
We can-
that has been the main gatekeeper.
And that
Because
is
we cannot build our own industry. And you
Yes.
ask yourself this question, how is it so hard? Because of such policies that you're
Yes.
talking about right now.
so if you pass these policies, we give you this money.
Yeah.
And that's why our country president is passing crazy bills in
Absolutely.
parliament.
Absolutely.
And after giving these people this money, it's sad that it doesn't go back to the people, because the people who have been installed there are greedy cunts. They will
Yeah.
divide it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So it's the money they're given money. The money doesn't go back to the people. It goes to their pockets, and the people are demanded to pay back.
Yeah.
You have to
That
pay
happened, remember?
us back, and that is how
The
the
last-
IMF operates.
Yeah.
So whether we don't give a fuck whether your money was looted or it was corrupted. That is not our problem.
Right.
Our problem is you have to pay us back.
That is so true. And we definitely know what IMF is, obviously. And for the ones who are joining us right away, I hope you're having a great time here with us on Let's Talk with Iriton. My name is Iriton, and
Sankara in the building.
yes, and we're actually talking about how African countries are getting paid to stay poor, and definitely IMF will definitely be a part of that conversation, and it's the International Monetary Fund. It is an international financial institution and a specialized agency of the United Nations. Headquarters is in Washington, D.C., and the IMF is a global organization that works to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity, according to Google, for all of its 191 member countries. It does so by supporting economic policies, Google, that's not really what they do, that promote financial stability and monetary cooperation, which are essential to increase productivity, not at all, job creation, and economic well-being, and all this is according to Google. But we definitely know they definitely, impoverish a lot of African countries, many countries actually, and we do have 7 countries that are not part of the IMF. We do have Cuba, North Korea, Monaco, Taiwan, Vatican City, and East Timor. That's what we definitely do have right now. And why do you think these countries are not part of the IMF?
Because they need to be okay. This looks like it was done intentionally.
Yeah.
If you hear the names of the
Right.
countries,
Mhm.
they're quite interesting. Cuba, Vatican,
North Korea, Monaco.
Interesting names. Monaco, where it's Monaco, the haven of billionaires who control the world. That is where they all land their ships and their boats and
Mhm.
whatever. That's where they go meet. and
Store your
do
money.
Crazy shit.
Hide,
So
actually.
if that list is very interesting.
Right.
Quite
Right?
coincidental and very Vatican.
Right? Cuba,
Cuba too.
North Korea.
North Korea is because
Taiwan.
North Korea is North Korea.
Absolutely.
North Korea will always be North Korea. So I'm not shocked to hear North Korea in the list, but
Yeah.
there's some names that are quite interesting.
We do have East Timor, Liechtenstein.
Those countries, I'm familiar with them,
Yeah.
but they sound like there's some there's some tax havens
Absolutely.
and places whereby if I'm a billionaire and I extort people for a living in the continent, I
Yeah.
will definitely hide my money. A
Right,
country nobody
right.
has ever heard of.
Actually, right? East Timor, Liechtenstein.
Who's the
Huh.
fucking president of that country? How many people are in that country?
Absolutely. You're like,
The population, they can all fit in a fucking WhatsApp group.
Absolutely.
Who
Yeah,
has
it's
ever
like,
heard
I
of such
gotta
a
hide
person?
my stuff, my money in East Timor, Liechtenstein. What? Is that a
Is that a
name
county?
over a bag or something?
Is that a shoe?
Is that a shoe?
It's interesting.
Yes, and they're saying who controls the IMF, as I said earlier. So they're saying, according to Google, but I'm gonna go into deep, real facts about the IMF. The IMF has always been independent, that's what they say.
Yeah.
But they also have a close ties with the CIA
Yes. Federal is,
and the Rockefellers.
well, the Rockefellers are. Jesus Christ! Can you give me a very soft word to use to describe the Rockefellers? They are cunts. That is the softest I can go right now. And PG-13.
Okay.
I don't know. The Rockefellers are problematic. They are the problems to this world.
Right.
It's the Rockefeller, the people who because banking, as much as we love to say banking is
Oh
something
my
that
gosh.
is done for the people,
But
banking is a business.
Yes.
And they own all the
All
fucking
the
banks.
financial institutions
And
in
it's
the world.
crazy that even the most powerful reserve on the planet, Federal Reserve of the American Bank, whatever,
Yeah.
is still tied to the fucking Rockefellers. How much gold do you fucking need in your lifetime that you have countries, the United Kingdom, America, Russia, all countries of the fucking world killing people for gold to bring to your fucking room? How much gold will you ever need on this fucking planet? Do you
Right.
eat, even if you were bringing gold in the morning, in the evening, like you do with oxygen, it wouldn't justify the amount that you've kept for yourself.
Right.
That is, you can't even call that gluttony. That's beyond greed.
Absolutely.
That's beyond greed.
So I want to play a video over here. I kind of shared it in the morning, but is about an individual we always talk about here. And this is what he's saying regarding Kenya, or basically the African countries that have potential, and we definitely understand the agendas of the foundation that I'm actually almost sharing right now. Right. Wait, but remember, family, you can download our app, get yourself some ashwagandha, beetroot, and Manuka honey coffee for $59.90. Your health is your wealth, so we definitely gotta eat healthy because we got a purpose to fulfill.
Can take care of their debt structure, which is pretty tough for them. That whole East Africa area, there's a lot of promise. Ethiopia's doing a lot of good things. The most critical country for the future of sub-Saharan Africa is Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
And there's a lot of things great about Nigeria, and there's a lot of things that are very tough, including politics in Nigeria. And I have a good friend, someone we both know well, Aliko Dangote, who's getting involved in philanthropy as he's had incredible business success. So that's a key country, particularly up in the north where you come from. You know, that's where our vaccination rates are still very low, below 30%, whereas other places, you know, like many African countries have a higher vaccination rate than the United States. Tanzania and Rwanda are two exemplars of that. You know, if Kenya can take care of their debt structure, which is pretty tough for them.
You just say Kenya can take care of their debt structure because it's pretty tough for them, because we do know the people definitely have put Kenya in that state, and the people are basically playing along and dancing along to the song. There's a comment over here before you give your take on this. Somebody saying, man has made it his life mission to depopulate Africa, yet many are still so colonized, they still worship him like he's the savior of the continent.
That comment explains it all.
Right.
And if you've never heard anything about Bill Gates and you read that comment, it will tell you everything you need to know about the guy.
Absolutely. Like 100%.
He is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is on a failed mission. I'm actually extremely happy about it. As much as he's on the internet screaming every day, paying our influencers to push his dirty language.
Absolutely.
People have started seeing past that, and I'm happy about it, because the more people see that, the more they educate others, and the more they educate others, the more people see that that's a lot of bullshit, that's a lot of country nonsense that he's coming to tell us. Fucking dead structure. Is he fucking Kenyan so that he can tell us that?
Right.
What does he know about our problems, and he wasn't born here?
Right. Absolutely. But we definitely understand his agenda. So to the main conversation about how African countries are getting paid to stay poor, I'm just going to share this video. And it's a conversation we definitely know about.
Yes.
But let's see how this goes.
Video is the creative partner. It's the year 1944, right at the crux of the Second World War. Representatives of 45 governments gathered at the Bretton Woods Conference in Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, in the United States of America, to figure out a way to rebuild Europe after the war and to come up with a framework for a post-war international economic cooperation. The idea was to set up a global economic institution. In the views of this guy, Harry Dexter White, this institution would function like a bank, making sure that borrowing states could repay their debts on time. British economist John Maynard Keynes, on the other hand, imagined that the new institution would be a cooperative fund upon which member states could draw to maintain economic activity and employment in times of crisis. About a year later, on December 27, 1945, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, formally came into existence with the first 29 countries ratifying its article of agreement. 2 years later, on March 1, 1947, the IMF began its financial operations, with France becoming the first country to borrow from this institution. Since then, the IMF has become the global lender of last resort, offering financial help to countries that find themselves in bad economic situations. It is like a giant bank funded by 190 member states where countries in need of financial help go to ask for loans to help stabilize their economies. Back in the 1940s, when the IMF was just getting started, no one expected Africa to be an important part of the fund's membership. Out of the 40 original members, only 3 African countries, that is Egypt, Ethiopia, and South Africa, were involved, and they were scarcely represented. In the decades that followed, things quickly changed as newly independent African nations emerged and wanted to be part of this financial institution. By 1990, when Namibia joined, every African country, a total of 52, was officially part of the IMF. But why was the IMF so important to these African countries? You see, the IMF offers different kinds of loans depending on the country's financial needs and economic situation. The non-concessional loans come with interest based on how the global economy is doing, and it is provided for countries that don't have extreme poverty but need some form of financial help through its general resource account. For low-income countries, the IMF offers what is called the concessional loans. These loans have zero interest, meaning the country does not have to pay extra money on top of what they borrowed. These loans come through what is known as the Poverty Reduction and Growth Trust. However, as you would expect, these loans come with strings attached. When a country takes a loan from the IMF, it doesn't get a blank check. The IMF sets strict conditions like a list of rules a country must have to follow in order to get the money. These conditions are usually referred to as IMF conditionality and vary from different countries depending on the type of loan obtained. You see, following centuries of colonial rule, many African countries finally gained independence in the mid-20th century. But the legacy of colonialism left these nations with economies that were mostly built around sending raw materials like cocoa, oil, and other minerals to the West. And since these poor countries have no industry or infrastructure to turn those resources into finished goods, they turn around to import the finished products back into their respective countries with hard currencies they do not own. Then the 1980s hit, a decade that was known as Africa's lost decade.
That's a really good start for this conversation.
Yeah.
And he's actually mentioned one thing that you have mentioned about industries.
Yes.
We don't have we don't even have any very independent systems in Africa at all. Which I believe it's
Manufacturing is a problem in Africa.
Right.
We can't manufacture our own goods. We're always importing. Anyways,
and I believe that was planned to be that way. Obviously, and the fact that the IMF is loaning money to countries that are basically, Africa is very wealthy.
yes,
No.
extremely wealthy.
Extremely wealthy that we do not need any kind of loans, and in each different leader or era of a new leader that comes in, is it funny that they are always paying the loans of the former era? Does it make sense?
It's at the end of the day, it's a trap,
Absolutely.
and they want you to be trapped in a trap. So they're still gonna continue asking for their dubious debts back, even if the person who borrowed it is long gone dead. They'll still come for their money.
And it's because they do not have leaders who question, who literally cannot stand on their ground to say that, what, I'm standing up for Africa. It's been too much, I'm not taking part in this thing again.
The leaders who are capable of doing that were long gone killed. Rest in peace to the sons of the soil, like Dedan Kimathi.
So funny that I was just wanted to talk about him today because it's Mashujaa Day, because even during the era of the late Jomo Kenyatta, even though there was just fake independence, he knew that was not it, and he kept fighting.
Well, Kenyatta was a paid actor. Kimathi was the real hero,
Absolutely.
and that's why they had him executed in 1957. And it is really sad that the person who we call our hero was one of the people who sold out the real hero, because
know.
Kenya, when Kenya was to gain its independence for real, the first leader that this country ought to have had was a leader like
Dedan
Dedan Kimathi.
Kimathi.
Because the history of Dedan Kimathi isn't taught enough in our schools. Why? Because they never tell people the real truth about Dedan Kimathi. And what is the truth about Dedan Kimathi?
Absolutely.
How did the Mau Mau come? The Mau Mau was people decided, no, we need to take our land back.
Absolutely.
And they went to the fucking forest and they created the first parliament
Mm.
of the people, by the people, for the people.
Right.
As it is
Supposed to be.
and is supposed to be. And Dedan Kimathi was the first speaker in that parliament. So it was obvious that he was the one who was to take charge even in the military wing and the military operation, and was to be the one to be our leader. And I would have really dreamt of a Kenya where our first president was a real fighter
Absolutely.
who was in the woods for real.
Yes, and
Not
that was it.
Yes.
But we definitely understand the agenda of keeping Africa impoverished, because we've seen what has been happening. We've seen what happened to Dedan Kimathi. We've seen what has now happened to Sankara. You know
Steve
Sankara?
Biko, yeah.
Yeah,
Sankara
everyone
too.
who's rising, standing up for justice.
Lumumba is
Yeah.
the most painful
Conscious leaders, they are always wiped out.
actually,
And as I
first.
believe the creator is rising, leaders like, you know, the Burkina Faso leader, on my opinion, will basically stand on truth, which is actually doing it. But we've definitely been reporting news of the globalists trying to assassinate him because he's standing up for what's really right, and that's not what they want you to do.
Well, if that guy in Burkina Faso was a real threat, I believe the West would have already valued.
He's a real threat. They are.
They would have already made him a
They're
villain,
trying to do that.
like they did with another great son of the soil, Muammar Gaddafi, and
No.
Muammar
You know
Gaddafi.
he fought for his people, not for Africans.
Muammar Gaddafi was the one who
No, he didn't fight for us.
he did fight for Africans. Yes, he did.
Which Africans?
He was the one who was championing for the African Bank, whereby Africa will have its own gold reserve, and Africa will
For
have
his people.
No.
For the Arabs.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
I've done research on him.
No, that
And
is not
it's
his.
no, it's a fact. Have you done research on him?
Yes, I have.
You think Gaddafi was fighting for melanated people?
Gaddafi was championing for a united Africa,
No.
and he was actually
For his people.
no.
Oh my
I say that.
gosh.
I say that.
It's facts that I'm telling you.
I say that because I have seen his work with Nelson Mandela.
You believe Nelson Mandela?
As much as Nelson Mandela was.
The fact that you've actually matched the two of them together gives you an answer. Does it not give you an answer of
As
what
much-
their real agenda?
As much as Nelson Mandela was. Okay, with Mandela, there's something with Mandela, it's quite complicated.
It's not complicated. He
Cause
just
there's some-
did what he gotta do.
Because with Mandela, there's this theory called the Mandela effect, where
Tell me about it.
where we believe where the Mandela effect, okay, in real life is whereby you think you've seen something that looks like something else from somewhere. For example, I might see a car that resembles a car that I've seen from someplace.
Okay.
So with how did the Mandela effect get its name from? So it's a theory that is speculated
Mhm.
that in the underground, when Mandela was in Robben's Island, he died,
Okay.
and the guy who came out 27 years later was a clone.
Okay.
So the
I'm listening to you.
Mandela effect. Now, the reason why I do feel pain for Gaddafi, and the reason why I do say Gaddafi was really championing for the Negro, and
No, for
He
his
was-
people.
he was really championing for Africa. It was his speech in the United Nations where he
In the United Nations.
Yes,
Okay.
where he told his speech and threw it to that crown thingy that usually is in the UN crest. At the you see the podium where presidents speak, on top there's usually a United Nations crest.
Mhm.
So And in that speech, as he tore up his speech and threw it as a sign of disrespect to the United Nations, he was.
But you know, Gaddafi played a role in the slave trade.
How?
I'm gonna play this video. I blocked it, absolutely. But just move on as I play the video.
With Gaddafi, the reason why I would be a champion for
Today we can definitively say
That is
that
the
the
reason
Gaddafi
why-
regime has come to an end.
The world is a better place
I'm playing the video.
with Gaddafi gone.
If you have studied African history, then you must have heard of Muammar Gaddafi, the famous Libyan revolutionist and politician. If not, then learn about him from this video. Muammar Mohammed Abu Munir al-Gaddafi, commonly known as Muammar Gaddafi, was a great African revolutionary leader born on June 7, 1942 in Qasr Abu Hadi in Libya. Gaddafi led Libya for 42 years, that is, from 1969 to 2011. It is good to note that his rule ended when he was captured and killed on October 20, 2011, after the Battle of Sirte. Many people attached his death to several causes or reasons, but in this video, you shall discover the real reason why he was killed. Gaddafi was captured by the National Transitional Council forces in Libya and was killed after several accusations. Looking at the number of reasons why Mohammed Gaddafi was killed, you might begin to wonder if this was because of excess dictatorship, and if it was, then you might also wonder the type of leadership such a dictator had. Before his death, Muammar Gaddafi went to take refuge in a large drainage pipe, accompanied by a good number of bodyguards. When the National Transitional Council fighters came, they opened fire which saw the demise of the long-hunted Gaddafi. Here is the real reason why he was killed. As earlier mentioned, Gaddafi was killed after being accused of several actions, and attempts most especially his desire to put forth an African gold-backed currency, known as the gold
Yeah, I'm
dinar.
not refuting the
According to
vision
credible
that he
and
had.
reliable sources, he was not killed.
His vision was amazing. I'm not refuting that. He had really great vision for an independent,
Africa.
yeah, absolutely.
And him talking
But
about.
most importantly, it was for his people.
But for him speaking and talking about a gold reserve for Africa, that is the that is actually the first step to freeing Africa from its economic
I
jailer.
agree with you. Yes.
And it's someone who had Africa's thoughts at heart, and the fact that he died and he was really hunted by Obama, Mr. Osama Obama.
Right.
So that will make me become more of a sympathizer, and that will make me want to look at Gaddafi from a lens that most people won't, and it's the lens whereby this guy wasn't as bad as he was being reported to be. Because remember,
I actually think people think he's nice. He was nice.
he was a really
That's
good
what I've-
person because in
That's what
his-
people think.
because in his presidency, and these are facts kwa kitabu, how they usually say, this guy's presidency tenure had the best health system in the country has ever seen, and it was one of the best health systems in Africa. The education literacy rate at his presidency was at 80%. That means very many people in his tenure were being taught, and they were extremely sharp in the national examination test scores. This is someone who's at his tenure, he had great roads, and after this guy died, Libya went to the fucking dogs.
I want to play this video.
Right.
If you allow me. The video that you're looking for.
أنا أدين وأقدم باسم العرب الاعتذار والتأسف الشديد
So
لسبب
he's saying, on behalf of the Arabs, I'd like to condemn, apologize, and express deep sorrow
للسلوك الذي
for the conduct of some Arabs, especially the wealthy among them,
سلكه العرب وخاصة الأغنياء منهم اتجاه
towards their African brothers,
أخوانهم الأفارقة. لقد ما
the wealthy Arab treated their African brothers in a disgraceful way in the past.
رسوا أغنياء العرب في الماضي ممارسة مخجلة اتجاه أخوانهم الأفارقة، حيث
They bought children and took them to North Africa
شروا الأطفال وجلبوهم إلى شمال أفريقيا وإلى
to the Arabian Peninsula and to the other Arab regions.
الجزيرة العربية وبقية المناطق العربية اللي تقع بين هذين الإقليمين واستعبدوهم
They subjugated them and traded in them.
وباعوهم واشتروهم وباعوهم
They engaged in slavery and human trafficking.
ومارسوا الرق ومارسوا تجارة البشر بشكل
In a most abnormal fashion, to tell you the truth.
مشين. الحقيقة نحن
We are ashamed along with our African brothers when we recall this.
نخجل أمام أخواننا الأفارقة عندما نتذكر هذا. يعني
We are ashamed of those who behaved in this manner,
نخجل من الذين مارسوا هذه الممارسة وخاصة
and
من
especially the wealthy Arabs
العرب الذين
who
نظروا
viewed their African brothers as inferior slaves.
لإخوانهم الأفارقة نظرة العبودية والدونية، وهذا لا
This is not different from the way the West, America and Europe
يختلف عن عمله الغرب من أمريكا إلى أوروبا تجاه الأفارقة
behave towards the Africans.
عندما عاملوهم
They would hunt them like animals, treat them like slaves, and act like colonialists.
في البداية كحيوانات واصطادوهم اصطياد، ثم عاملوهم كعبيد، ثم عاملوهم كمستعمرين. استعمروهم
They engaged in colonialism and exploited them,
واستغلوهم حتى هذا اليوم.
and this continues to this day. We
فلقد
extend our apology and express our sorrow for this act.
يجب الحقيقة الاعتذار والأسف لتلك الممارسات.
Yes, you're clapping?
Yes, I
Why are
am.
you clapping?
Because he is acknowledging and he is saying that some Arabs.
Does it make a difference?
Yes, by speaking
It
out.
doesn't.
He
It doesn't make a
is
difference at all.
speaking out.
It doesn't make a difference.
He is speaking out, and if you hear from his tone of language, he's not speaking from a place of pride, but he's speaking from a place of sorrow and wanting forgiveness. That's why he
I
says.
believe because he needs to do that, not because he wants to do that.
Someone who hates Africans, they say it in their faces.
I can see it in his face.
They don't pretend. Momo,
Yeah.
you know. This is something I've actually learned about society. Society has a way of villainizing heroes and praising villains.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yes, cause look, they crucified Jesus, and Jesus made no mistake.
We're not talking about Jesus right
We're
now.
looking at the pattern.
No.
No, we're looking at the pattern people take towards good people.
So you
in
are
society.
acknowledging
I
that
acknowledge-
Gaddafi was a good person.
Yes, I acknowledge that because if he
What did
says
you do for the Africans? Not even the Arabs, the Africans. I want to know. That's one thing, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, I take my words back.
he was speaking for Africans.
Which Africans specifically?
You've heard him talk about the black Africans.
No, because he
In
needed
that
to
speech?
he needed to apologize to the African community.
He got killed because of his
Vision,
Bank of Africa,
his vision.
Bank of
For
Africa
his
Reserve.
people.
No. It was
Yes.
for Africans. He didn't say Arabic Africans in his gold reserve speech. He doesn't say black. He doesn't say Arab Africans. He said for all Africans. And he had started journeying with all African presidents, talking to them, trying to convince them how we're gonna get
So
this
at
gold
the time, which
reserve.
African president did Kenya have?
I'm aware he had spoken to he had contacted West African countries. I'm not aware about Kenya. I'm also aware of South Africa, and I'm not well informed about him conversing with the Kenyan president, but I am well convinced and well informed about how he was championing for the Bank Reserve of Africa. What does that mean?
No. Gaddafi was a opportunist. He didn't give a shit about Africans. The Africans have to understand this. He was doing that for his own benefit. He wanted the Arabs to control African wealth. That's why he was now out there parroting, oh, we need one African currency, blah, blah, blah. And no, most Africans are bootlicks. You guys worship other people. So Arabs were going to be the ones controlling African wealth. That's why he had to make the apology, because he knows Africans knew that the Arabs don't like Africans. They've enslaved Africans. They beat, raped, killed. That's why they're still doing it today. They're still doing it up in Morocco, in Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, all these invaders. These are African lands that these people have invaded. And they hate African people. Algeria, all of them. That's why you see them now killing African women in these places. So Gaddafi was not an African hero. Get that out of your African mind. He didn't give a shit about African people. What he did was build soft power in Africa. That's why he put all these goofy mosques. That's when take you there, would come with their fake religion. The Europeans with their fake Christianity, the Arab with their fake Islam. That's why he built mosques everywhere he went. That's why he got the Saudi Arabians. Oh, even Ray, we'll build you mosques. He said, I don't need no damn mosque. We can pray outside. I mean, well, how about you build us hospitals and schools? Oh, they didn't do that because they know religion is mind control. So Africa's wealthy. That's why Gaddafi was saying that. Of course, that eventually got him killed because one currency would put Africa back on top. But that was going to be on top with the Arabs controlling it. Not my African brothers. I'm sorry for all the things we've done. We haven't made right by it. Have we did reparations to African people? No. Have we given back the money and shit we stolen from you people? No. That's all empty words. Because Africans are easily fooled. I'm sorry for my Arab brothers. No, okay, so Gaddafi is now dead and stinking. What's changed with the Arabs and their racism? As far as taking women, raping women, shitting on their faces, sperming on them and all. What's changed? Oh, absolutely nothing. So that's how you know it was fake. You Africans, us as Africans, you gotta stop being childlike in the mind. They don't do anything to help us. He realized, okay, yeah, if I get control of Africa and put us at the top, we know we fucked over these Africans. We're sitting here in African land, and we can't stand it. But they're stupid and childlike. So we say, us Arabs have done Africans wrong. Our brothers. Okay. Now he's dead. What's changed?
He needed to say that. He didn't want to say that. He needed to say that.
Yeah, he had to say that because not all Africans are stupid. They know that the Arabs have been their enemies. So he's got to say, if I'm going to make an African currency here, Todd, he needs Africa. The wealth is in the other African countries. So I need the wealth of Africa. So I got to say, my African brothers, we have fucked you over for so long. And it's wrong what we've done. But I'm going to make us to come together and make an African currency under me, Irritant. Not you goopy niggas. Under the Arab. We'll be in charge of it. But we'll use you goopy niggas resources. So that's what he's doing. Shout out to some Africans. Thank God they understood this. Not just me saying it. They knew Gaddafi was a scam. He didn't care about Africa. He hated IS. Okay. I want you guys to go research this. The original members that Gaddafi and them are invaders. They still got the regular Africans in Libya. Every time. They never show you on TV. The regular black, and go see how they're treated like shit. they're discriminated against, and they're marginalized, or they're enslaved. Today, they still got up there in the southern part of, they moved the Africans into the worst part of living, the lands in the desert. So look at the original black Libyans, they're still there, but the ones that they haven't murdered off, because they, remember, these fake Arabs genocide the Africans. Genocided them. So, but the ones that are still there, they're still there in Libya. The original Egyptian, the Africans, still in Egypt. The black ones, they're all in the southern part. The original Africans, and they're all in the southern parts of these countries, like Algeria, Morocco, where these invaders took over. Shout out to the one white guy who made it. These ain't Africans, these are Turk, Greeks, Caucasian, all mixed together. They're not African. These are invaders of African lands. Those are not original people.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I heard about Gaddafi. I was not even woke to like the African history. I was just like chilling at my brother's place and was just like, okay, Gaddafi. And I was like, okay, I've been hearing about this guy, right? Let me do some research about it. And this is before I knew anything about my identity, anything to do with how the world works. And it's so amazing that I just did this research that actually exposed how he didn't like Africans. That's the first time. And that's why I knew, like, he was not a good person. Because I always hear, he was a good person.
He was a good person to hit people.
Yes.
And you say, so what he did was great for the Arabs, of course. He did great. I'm not saying he was a good person to his own people, but he wasn't a good piece of people to African people. Yeah, exactly right. He wasn't good for Africans. That's why he had to make, exactly, why he had to make the whole, can he get it out? The whole soliloquy. Oh, you Africans, we did you wrong. I'm so sorry.
He didn't say that. He had a good vision for his people and about Africa. Yes, very amazing, honestly.
He made great. He made Libya, I went to Libya. Yeah. He made Libya absolutely wonderful for them.
It's true, yeah. And that's how Africa should be. But it was not for us, the melanated people. It was for his people.
Well, yeah, because they're not going to exploit the Arab, because the Arab is the cousin of they're not the Caucasians, they're their cousins. So they're going to allow them to develop so much. African, they don't want to let the African develop at all. They want to keep Africans poor and dumb and stupid and just on the bottom. Right. So they're going to allow him to develop a little bit. He only became a threat when he said he was going to try to unite the other African morons under him. So that would topple the IMF, the World Bank, and their whole big economic system. Because the wealth of Africa united is the wealth of the planet, Airtime.
Absolutely.
So do this real quick, Airtime. Since you guys mentioned Britainwood, go to YouTube real quick and say, or just say images of Europe after World War II. Europe was completely destroyed, Airtime. So how's it more developed today now than Africa? Europe was completely destroyed, Airtime. So they took the wealth of Africa to rebuild Europe.
Right. You said images of Europe?
The images say, go to YouTube, say, videos of Europe destroyed right after World War II. The whole continent, Airtime, was destroyed. It couldn't feed, house, or clothe itself. So they went back to raid back into Africa. It's just what you see in Europe today, they're being developed, is the theft of them going back into Africa and stealing everything. So how can it be more developed in Africa today when it was completely destroyed? I want you to pull that out. You'll see. Completely destroyed. It was wiped out, Airtime. So how is it more now developed in Africa? You see it. Completely destroyed. Yes, one of the was completely devastated. You see, all of Europe was completely devastated. They couldn't feed itself, they couldn't house itself, they couldn't clothe itself. So they went back, turned to Africa. See, it's all destroyed. So they went back to Africa to start to keep the stealing going so they can rebuild their civilization and keep Africa underdeveloped and impoverished. He said it was completely destroyed, Airtime. Completely wiped out.
Yeah. 1945.
Yeah, so the Africans need to know they've been stealing. You've been kept underdeveloped on purpose while they rebuilt Europe off your back and the Arab world off your back. But they don't want to teach you none of this. They want to keep you worshiping your oppressor. They keep talking about Jesus or Allah. But why hell Jesus fixed their country back up and not yours? Allah fixed up their country, not yours. Devastated. Devastated, Airtime.
Yeah, completely destroyed. So the question is, how
completely.
did they get back up? Africa,
Exactly.
of course.
Yeah,
And that's why they're still here.
of course.
Yeah. So those are images of World War II history photos when Europe was destroyed after World War II and it was tremendously burnt down, sadly. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. We're talking about Gaddafi and the apology he had to make to the African community. What's your take on that, Sankara, after this conversation?
The West or the people who have accused Gaddafi of treating black people terribly have managed to spread that gospel very well.
You don't believe it?
Without giving us facts.
No, let me give you the fact. Let me give you the fact. Not just the white people. They've all done it. It's not just the white people. I want you to go look. I want you to go research this. Go look at the Africans, the original people of Libya, not those fake Arabs like Gaddafi, and their treatment to the Africans that they did. They wiped them out. They genocided them.
Yes.
You have a few left. Go look it up.
Yes. The white Arabs in Africa are known to be racist to black people, but let us be clear. Gaddafi was, yes,
they are actually.
But let us be clear, Gaddafi wasn't the inventor of racism. He wasn't the one who started racism or started.
No, but he continued it.
Yes.
We're not saying no one started it. Now that's like get crazy. It all existed before he was born, but he didn't stop it. He didn't stop racism. He continued it. That's why he was giving that goofy apology.
So
you think he wasn't complicit? That's why he had to give you that fake apology. My African brothers, I'm sorry. So what's changed? If he's so sorry, what institutions did he build to stop the wicked racism and teach his next generation that's wrong? What did he build? Nothing.
Yes,
fake work.
He did build an organization called Frelimo that did allow for Pan-African education free of charge in Libya, whether you're Nigerian, Kenyan, Ugandan, and it was education for black people. Frelimo, you can look it up.
I've never heard of Frelimo. I know that's called soft power. Yeah. Understand what soft power is? It's fake. So soft power.
He did do something for the black people. He did.
No, he didn't. No.
No, you can't say counting it because he paid for the education.
That's soft. That's called. No. I want you to look this up. That's called soft. That's called soft power. So you being somewhat easily propagandized to. That's called soft power. If I create an institution and you believe it's doing something that it's not, it's called soft power. So it's really giving you crumbs, nothing. Because you know the institution didn't work because what are Libyans doing African people right now, today? What are they doing?
It actually worked because very many Africans did get education in Libya.
It worked? Okay. Put us up here, Tom. Say, is slavery of black Africans rampant in Libya today? Just ask them.
Is slavery?
Is slavery rampant amongst black Africans in Libya today? We're gonna bring some reality to this thing. I've been to Libya, so I don't know. Don't tell me I don't believe my lie. It even gets worse than that. But the organ harvesting in Libya of black people is crazy today.
According to the 2023 Global Slavery Index, an estimated 6.8, I think, in every 1,000 people were in modern slavery in Libya as
How
a
about this?
point.
In Libya, his soft part, in Libya. And not only that, Iraton, they take black men, women, and children, and they cut open their bodies. Organ harvesting is rampant, openly done. They've had bodies of black people stacked in the streets, Iraton, because their organs have been stolen. Stacked in the streets, the bodies of African people in Libya, stacked like logs in the street. They're not your friend. You better stop being naive.
We do have another one that says slavery in Libya has a long history and a lasting impact on the Libyan culture. It is closely connected with the wider context of slavery in North Africa.
How is
Yes,
that?
everything.
How is that?
It never died underneath no Gaddafi.
My
They
question
still
would
practice
be-
slavery. So all the things, he opened up a great, not even that goofy ass school.
But
They
the
never
truth
stopped
is-
no
the
damn
truth is
fucking slave of
everything-
African people
everything-
while he was there.
Everything we've read about slavery and everything we've seen about black slavery in North Africa, which is something has been existing years, even centuries before Gaddafi was here, decades and even millennials.
What that got to do with any goddamn thing? If he's a friend of black people, he would have stopped the shit. He was the leader.
It doesn't.
The African is about this shit to happen.
Everything that we've read here about how slavery happens in West in North Africa isn't explicitly saying that Gaddafi is the one who facilitated it. If those figures are a billion people who are being, or it's
He didn't help facilitate it. He was the damn leader of the country for 42 years. What are you talking about?
The question will be.
I've been to Libya. I know it's a fact. You're talking crazy talk.
The question will be.
If I'm a leader of a country, I can stop slavery. I'm the leader. I can stop the facility. I can't stop in Algeria, Morocco, or Egypt around me. I'm the leader. I'm trying to get rid of black African slavery. So I have the power to stop it. He never did. He never tried to stop it. He wanted to give me some fake apology for it. But did he stop the institution? No.
Because the institution was bigger than he could. That's why he was eliminated.
So I'm going to read
No.
this. I'm going to read
He
this.
wasn't no slave. He wasn't eliminated to try to stop no damn slavery.
As we're winding up, Mr. Newsom, I want to read this. Execution, torture, and slave markets persist in Libya. And Libyans and migrants are often held incommunicado in arbitrary detention in appalling conditions, and reports persist of captured migrants being bought and sold on open slave markets. It is said in a report to the Human Rights Council, Libya is a split between rival governments in the east and west, while ports and beaches are largely in the hands of armed groups who smuggle mainly African migrants onto the boards.
And this
heading
I'm talking about
Italy,
the weakness of the black African. These are acts of war. You're supposed to have been in the war a long time ago against these Arabs, but you've not built a real military. Shout out to Ibn Touray. You're going to have to go to war. The idea you think this is normal, it's been happening. It's only been happening to African people.
But that doesn't.
They've been happening to white people,
Gaddafi
Arab
led it.
people, they're happening to African people. And you just
Doesn't tell you
brushed over
Gaddafi
like
led
it's
it.
normal.
this
It's
is
been happening
what
so
they say.
long to African people. It's the norm.
Armed groups executed and tortured civilians in Libya in almost complete impunity 7 years after the revolution that toppled Muammar Gaddafi.
After
The
his death.
United Nations Human Rights Office said
This
on
thing it just
that day.
continued. It's now on a high scale. He never stopped it. He just said it now intensified. That's what they're saying. He never stopped. He never tried to stop it.
You know,
He
wasn't-
never tried. You understand this?
You know, he wasn't a
He never
saint.
stopped.
He wasn't a
First he
saint.
said, now after he died, now see you're caught in propaganda, son. But first, it was bigger than him. Is it bigger than him, or did he stop it? Which one is it?
You know,
You can't have it both ways.
he wasn't a saint. But you know, calling him anti-black misses the point because he built.
I
more
never called.
Africans.
Oh hell no! I never thought he was a saint. But he wasn't. He wasn't a friend of African people. But you trying to make it? He's not.
The guy
Never a
built-
friend of African people. He was an opportunist.
The guy has built for Africa more than most of our African leaders.
What?
This has
Built
been
what?
tried.
Goofy Mosque? That's called self-power, son. Understand self-power.
Absolutely.
Put us up. Put us up for release here. So this is
Okay.
Put us up here, Thomas. Just pull up this definition. Say, what is the definition of soft power?
Okay.
So he understands soft power. He won't run away thinking Gaddafi was his friend. Gaddafi put his ass in a slave camp and cut off his dick. Crazy shit with Africans.
Is there physical evidence for that? You know, in a court of law, there's nothing like he said, she said. It's always this is the evidence. Yeah.
We do have a persuasive
Yeah.
approach to
Yeah, and I'm a production of law school. That's why I'm trying to help you. Who went to law school here? Me or you? I went to law school. You didn't. So I'm helping you.
You know you did go to law school. Mr. Newsom.
Yeah, he don't know. So he tried to do law in there. I went to law school. You didn't. So I'm trying to teach you the law, son.
Okay.
Go ahead, here.
Okay. Persuasive approach to international relations, typically involving the use of economic or cultural influence. That's what they say. But we do have another definition here. In politics, and particularly in international politics, soft power is the ability to co-opt rather than coerce, in contrast with hard power. It involves shaping the preferences of others through appeal and attraction. Soft power is non-coercive, using culture, political values, and foreign policies to enact change.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. I make this fake school, and my African brothers, we've done you wrong. That's soft power. Okay? It's coercion. I'm not beating you over the head. I'm using soft power to change your mind. And that's why you're fighting for this guy against another African who's telling you he wants your friend. So soft power is work. Because you think Gaddafi was your buddy. And I'm here to tell you, he wasn't. We'll go ahead, my little guy.
And also do have 7 pillars of soft power. Overall reputation is the nation deemed to have a strong and positive reputation globally. Performance on the 7 soft powers of pillars: business and trade, governance, international relation, culture and heritage, media and communication, education and science, people and values.
Education and science. They go to your goofy school that I tried to teach you about. It's called soft power. Okay? So so you believe I got goofy Africans and I'm teaching you to be brothers. That's soft power. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're actually winding up with that. You're doing okay, Sankara?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all about the one and only Gaddafi. But you can definitely do your own research deeper, because I know you're a
That's your hero.
You're a very witty individual, and you'll definitely get the answers. Yeah. But family, thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk with Iruton. We're talking about a conversation on how African countries are getting paid to stay poor. And I hope you actually followed up. Thank you, Mr. Newsom, for joining us. Most importantly about Gaddafi, because that is always like a main factor every time we talk about him. A lot of people know he did good, basically for his people, but they don't know the other side.
Exactly.
They don't know the other side about the Africans. Yeah, they don't know how his agenda for the melanated community.
Which was?
Definitely.
Which was goddamn rule? What do you mean? Which was rule?
Where's the evidence?
But before that, oh my God, it's okay. I want to share this video.
This how propaganda works. He still can't understand where's the I just told him what's soft power. He can't understand where's the evidence they still got slaves of African people. Evidence they still got their organ harvesting.
And there's no evidence of you stealing, right?
Their evidence.
That's about what? Stealing what?
I'll call you a thief and you haven't stolen from me and you have no
evidence. He's not about being a thief. The money was in his own country. I say he stole from. I told you he was not. I told you not a friend of African people.
Yes.
What I'm saying, Elton, is I can't call you a thief, and there's no evidence of you being a thief on paper. You get it? You haven't stolen from me. You haven't taken anything from me.
Okay.
It's just me saying
The argument is non-relative to the conversation. Said Corey, who said they about to be a thief and stealing from you?
Just give an example.
That's about that.
He says he wants legit evidence, but I've definitely showed you the evidence.
Yes,
I
my
have.
point
We've
is
shared the video.
legit evidence.
That's
We
the
know exactly.
evidence.
He's in propaganda. We showed you
It's
that he's
okay.
not your
Let's
friend,
keep
and you still can't let it go because
It's
you
okay.
propaganda.
But I
You
want to
believe
But
it.
but the guy, remember when I did give a point in the at
we're
some
winding
point,
up, family.
I did say
We
he
should
wasn't
talk
a
more
saint.
about this.
I did say he wasn't a saint.
We'll talk
but
more about this
he's
on the
not
next
that
show.
boogeyman people paint him to be.
I want to play this
I
video
love
right
you,
away.
boogeyman. Not
as
not
we're
the Arab.
finishing up.
Arabs should love it. I think Arabs should love Gaddafi.
Yeah.
African should.
I want to play this video.
Your official language is what? Arab. What? Arab. Yeah, but what's the meaning of Arab? Arab is a misbreed. It's a contaminated blood. Yeah,
The real
misbreed is a
Arab
half
blood.
caste. It's an half caste. Half caste. Yeah, when you have half caste, you are not original. You know what? I can't be like you. You can never be and tend to be like me. I'm original breed. You can compare. You are inferior. That's it. Sorry to use that, but you're inferior. I'm telling you the truth. You can take it and cry. You can go to bed and sleep with it. You're inferior. Me, I can put chemicals in my hair and look like you can never turn your hair into my hair. You're inferior breed. You're talking about, yes, brother. You're inferior breed.
That's it. When you know about your African history, you'll definitely know how to definitely have a good conversation. Because
Exactly.
we do have,
Exactly. You get your confidence back. You won't be
Yeah.
sucking no Arab dick.
absolutely. Okay. Well, okay, I didn't expect that, but we're winding up, family. Download our app on the Google Play Store. Stream on
Right. And it was shocking. Just trying to defend Gaddafi, no
for
good ass.
amazing healthy supplements, our clothing with the Blackout 5 Radio logo on it.
Thank you.
That has been
And
our
this on you,
time.
Negro.
My name is
And your
Ibrahim
name?
Longoria, and
I'm Mr.
And Mr.
Sigara.
and the one and only Mr. Advocate, Mr. Newsom.
It's like, hey, what's up? Good luck. You going to Libya, nigga. I look for the brother. Think smart.